Welcome back to the Power Public YouTube channel. Today we're going to show you how to assemble all the parts for your X30 175 and show you how to run it in on the engine dyno. Okay, so in the last episode we showed you the unboxing of the 175 project. Today we're going to be assembling all the little bits and pieces to it and getting it ready to go on the dyno, running it in, and then showing you the power output. So let's get to it. Thanks to everybody that's subscribed, turned on those notifications, given us a thumbs up. It really means a lot to the channel. The first thing we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be putting in the gearbox oil. It's critical. The engines don't ship with it. If you don't put it in, it's never going to end well. So let's get to that. All right, so they ship the engine with the gearbox oil. It's a little tube like this. So you just want to bust that open, and then we're going to add 30 milliliters. You can see here on the front there's a filler point here. We're going to take that little drain plug out and put the oil in through there and let it breathe out through the top. So just grab your 4mm Allen key, crack that one off there. Now if the gearbox oil is full, when you do this, it'll start to leak out. Now all I do is rock the engine back like this, and then with the beaker, just pour it down and fill up the gearbox. Now you can grab the 4mm Allen key and then just screw this filler plug back on. Do it up nice and tight. It'll compress the copper a little bit. Just wash off any spilled oil with a bit of brake cleaner. Clean up with a rag. Next up, we're going to be screwing on the carburetor. So the carburetor, as you can see, is giant. It is a massive carby. That's the biggest carby I've ever seen on a go-kart, really. It is 36mm carburetor every day. Boom, 3595. So on this one, we've got a little spacer bracket. That's going to go there. Oops. And the gasket. And the carburetor. Turn it a little bit so it's over the edge of the arm. It's got captive nuts in there, so I'm not just spinning up air. So that's just a 5mm Allen key, and there's two captive nuts inside the carburetor, and they just screw to those studs. And the carby's on. Comes with a return spring. It'll just go in there. Comes with the throttle cable. You'll see that later in the cart assembly project. So the engine comes with its own screws for the clutch cover, which is these ones here. And also too, there's a little screw here into the crankcase, and that's for the earth strap. So what happens here is you can see that the coil's mounted to the plastic, so it's not earthed. And it needs to be, obviously, so it comes with its own little earth strap. So all you do there is grab that little screw, and we're just going to screw that little guy down in there. Now we can screw the clutch cover on. Install the spark plug. We're good to go. Okay, so now we've screwed on most of the auxiliary components to the engine. We've put the gearbox oil in. It's time to screw it to an engine mount and chuck it on the engine dyno. Okay, so we've never run one of these in before. I've never seen one. This is the first time. So it's as new for us as it is for you. So stay tuned, we're going to throw it on the dyno and we'll be stopping and breaking it down as we go. So now you can see we've got the engine all mounted up on the dyno, everything's plumbed in. This is its first test fire, so let's give it a kick. Alright, so there you have it. There's the dyno result. That's your X30 175 versus the X30 standard. You can really see here how much torque difference there is over here on the left. If I just drag the cursor over, you can really see how much variation there is in the torque of the bigger capacity engines. So down low is where you're really going to, start frying the tyres, and then, I mean, it makes a lot of power here. Nearly 43 horses at 10,700, but then obviously, like everything, it's a compromise, and then you're starting to lose some of the, you're starting to come back to the power of your X30 here in the very top end, at 12,000 RPMs. Okay, so there you have it. That's the 175 Super X30. I hope you liked that video on the dyno run-in and the comparison against the normal X30. Huge variation in the bottom end torque, obviously being a massive 175cc. You obviously expected that with the bigger piston. Funnily enough, in the very top end, around that 12,500 RPM, the power was actually quite similar to the X30, the smaller 125. So yeah, obviously the bottom end is going to be the strength of this engine. If you're liking these videos, please consider subscribing and turning on those pesky notifications. Give a thumbs up to the video if you like it. It really means a lot to us. Also too, you can follow along on Instagram and Facebook at Power Republic. And if you want to spread the Christmas cheer a little bit our way, you can head over onto our Patreon page, shout us some beers or a coffee, or going to our fantastic website, www.powerrepublic.com.au. Grab yourself a t-shirt or a brand new X30 175. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.